Commander Rhina Drake stood at the observation deck of Luna Base Omega, her reflection ghosting against the reinforced transparisteel as she watched Earth rotate slowly below. The classified facility, hidden beneath the moon's surface, represented humanity's greatest deception, and soon, their greatest revelation. "They've crossed the Kuiper Belt, Commander," Lieutenant Jace Wong reported, his dark eyes fixed on the quantum display. "The Zenith Coalition fleet matches our intelligence estimates. Approximately 300 vessels, primarily warships." Rhina nodded, her silver-streaked black hair catching the artificial light. For decades, humanity had presented a carefully crafted image to the galaxy, a fractured, technologically primitive species barely capable of reaching their own moon. The scattered satellites, the chemical rockets, the public squabbles between nations, all part of an elaborate masquerade. High Admiral Thex of the Zenith Coalition stood on his command ship's bridge, mandibles clicking in barely contained amusement. The holographic display showed Earth's pitiful defenses, a crude network of satellites and what the humans called the International Space Station. His species had mastered quantum tunneling before these creatures had invented the wheel. "Prepare the standard first contact protocols," Thex commanded, his iridescent carapace reflecting the soft blue light of the tactical displays. "Though I doubt we'll need them. These humans still use radio waves for communication." His second-in-command, Strategic Officer Ven, manipulated the display with her four-fingered hands. "Their military forces are divided among nearly 200 sovereign territories, High Admiral. They expend more resources fighting among themselves than advancing their technology. The Coalition had encountered dozens of species like humanity, young, divided, ripe for conquest under the guise of uplifting them into galactic society. Few lasted more than days against their quantum-based weapons and gravitic shields." Deep within Luna Base Omega, Rhina activated her neural interface, connecting with Earth's true defensive grid. The public satellites were merely shells, housing quantum computers that had been monitoring and analyzing alien technology for decades. Every primitive rocket launch had tested revolutionary propulsion systems disguised as chemical engines. "Status of the Ghost Fleet," she asked, her neural link pulsing with data. "All vessels ready, Commander," Jace responded. "The quantum mesh is fully charged. Dark Star drones are in position throughout the system." The humans had learned long ago that the best defense was letting your enemies underestimate you. While the galaxy's powers fought over territory and resources, Earth had evolved in secret, developing technologies that worked with the fundamental forces of the universe rather than against them. High Admiral Thex was preparing his standard conquest speech when the first anomaly appeared. A gravitational distortion, barely noticeable, rippled through space near Mars. His sensors registered it as a minor astronomical phenomenon. "High Admiral," Ven called out, her voice carrying an unfamiliar note of concern. "I'm detecting unusual quantum signatures throughout the system. They don't match any known natural or artificial patterns." Before Thex could respond, space itself seemed to fold. Where there had been empty void, massive vessels suddenly materialized, ships that seemed to bend light around their hulls, their surfaces flowing like liquid metal. The largest of these phantom ships dwarfed even his command vessel. "Impressive entrance," Rhina transmitted on all frequencies, her voice carrying a hint of amusement. "High Admiral Thex of the Zenith Coalition, this is Commander Rhina Drake of the Earth Defense Force. You're in violation of sovereign human space. I suggest you reconsider your next move carefully." The Coalition fleet sensors were going haywire, unable to properly analyze the human vessels. Their hull composition defied conventional physics, and their energy signatures suggested power levels that should have been impossible for a supposedly primitive species. "How?" Thex demanded, his mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "We monitored your development for years. Your technology level, your divided nations. Did you really think a species that spent millennia perfecting the art of warfare would leave their real defenses in plain sight?" Rhina replied. "Those primitive satellites you detected? Quantum supercomputers in disguise. Those chemical rockets. Test platforms for our gravity manipulation systems. Around the Coalition fleet, thousands of smaller objects began to emerge from quantum space, the Dark Star drones, each containing more computing power than entire alien networks. They moved like schools of fish, their quantum-entangled processors allowing them to act as a single organism. As Thex watched in mounting horror, he realized his mighty Coalition fleet had just stumbled into the galaxy's most elaborate trap. The real question was, would they survive long enough to warn others about humanity's true nature? Lieutenant Jace Wong's neural interface pulsed with incoming data as the Dark Star drones surrounded the Coalition fleet. Each drone was a masterpiece of human engineering, powered by quantum processors that could rewrite local spacetime. But they weren't weapons, they were teachers. Quantum analysis grid is active, he reported to Commander Drake. The drones are mapping their technology in real time. On his command ship, High Admiral Thex fought to maintain composure as his tactical displays dissolved into chaos. The human vessels defied conventional scanning, their surfaces rippling with patterns that seemed to bend reality itself. More disturbing were the small drones swarming through his fleet, passing through shields as if they didn't exist. Their weapons, Strategic Officer Ven reported, her voice trembling. They're not targeting our ships, they're studying them. Learning from them. Fascinating design choices, Rhina transmitted to the Coalition fleet. Your quantum drives are remarkably efficient, if somewhat unimaginative. Tell me, High Admiral, did your species develop them independently, or did you salvage the technology from another civilization you uplifted? The question struck like a physical blow. The Coalition had indeed built their empire on stolen innovations, forcing conquered species to surrender their technological secrets. But these humans weren't destroying their ships to take their technology, they were simply reading it, understanding it, and already improving upon it. Deep within Luna Base Omega, the quantum mainframe processed the Dark Star drone's findings. Each piece of Coalition technology was analyzed, its principles understood and enhanced through humanity's unique approach to physics. The geometric patterns flowing across the Ghost Fleet's hulls began to shift, incorporating new elements even as they improved upon them. You're making a mistake, Thex transmitted, his mandibles clicking rapidly. The Coalition's reach extends across 12,000 star systems. This display of technology, however impressive, cannot stand against our full might. Rhina allowed herself a small smile. Your empire-building philosophy is fundamentally flawed, High Admiral. You see the universe as something to be conquered, broken down, and consumed. We see it as something to be understood. As if to demonstrate her point, the Dark Star drones suddenly shifted their formation. The space around the Coalition fleet began to shimmer as thousands of quantum fields intersected in impossible patterns. Thex watched in horror as his ship's weapon systems began to power down, their energy bleeding away into the geometric web the humans had woven around them. We didn't spend centuries divided because we couldn't unite, Rhina continued. We maintained our separate nations because we discovered something remarkable: diversity breeds innovation. Each culture, each perspective, contributed to our understanding of the universe's true nature. The largest human vessel, a behemoth that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, moved closer to Thex's command ship. Its hull rippled with patterns that incorporated Coalition designs, but twisted into configurations that made his scientific officers' exoskeletons rattle with disbelief. Your weapons were efficient, Jace commented, monitoring the quantum feed. But you never asked why quantum particles behave the way they do. You forced them to obey, we learned to dance with them. Throughout the Coalition fleet, crews watched in mounting panic as their most advanced systems were not just analyzed but transformed. The humans weren't destroying their technology, they were evolving it, showing them possibilities they had never imagined. The Dark Star drones have completed their analysis, Jace reported. Should we proceed with the demonstration? Rhina considered the Coalition fleet, trapped in a web of quantum fields that had turned their own technology against them. These aliens had come expecting to find primitive savages ready for conquest. Instead, they had encountered humanity's true face, not conquerors, but innovators. "High Admiral," she transmitted, "you have a choice. You can order your fleet to attempt resistance, and we will systematically demonstrate how thoroughly we've surpassed your understanding of quantum mechanics. Or, you can accept that the galaxy is changing, and perhaps learn something about true power." The patterns across the Ghost fleet's hulls pulsed one final time, and every coalition ship felt their quantum cores begin to resonate with the human network. Not being subjugated, but being invited into something vastly more sophisticated than their empire had ever achieved. "The question isn't whether you'll surrender," Rhina concluded. "The question is how much you're willing to learn before you make the inevitable choice." Strategic Officer Ven watched her displays flicker as human quantum fields rewrote the laws of physics around the coalition fleet. Their most advanced sensors showed impossible readings, spaces that existed in multiple states simultaneously, energy patterns that seemed to think and adapt. "High Admiral," she reported, mandibles trembling, "the humans aren't just containing us. They're teaching us." Through the quantum network, information flowed both ways. The Dark Star drones transmitted detailed analyses of coalition technology, but also shared fundamental insights about the nature of reality itself. Each data packet demonstrated not just what humans could do, but why their approach worked better. "Your Empire's fundamental mistake," Commander Drake explained, her voice echoing through every coalition ship, "was assuming that technological advancement follows a linear path. You climb the ladder of progress one rung at a time, taking what you need from those below you." The massive human flagship, designated Prometheus, moved through space in ways that defied conventional physics. It didn't disrupt spacetime like coalition ships, it flowed with it, existing in harmony with quantum principles the aliens had never considered. Lieutenant Wong monitored the reaction from Luna Base Omega. "Coalition quantum cores are beginning to synchronize with our network. Their ships are experiencing spontaneous efficiency improvements of 300%. In the command center, Rhina nodded. This was humanity's true weapon, not destruction, but transformation. "You see, High Admiral, while your empire was busy conquering stars, we were learning to listen to them. Every quantum particle, every gravitational wave, every fold in spacetime tells a story. We just had to learn the language." Thex felt his exoskeleton vibrate as new understanding flooded through his ship's systems. The humans weren't just showing off superior technology, they were demonstrating a fundamentally different way of interacting with the universe. His weapons, designed to force quantum particles into submission, now seemed crude compared to human systems that worked in harmony with natural forces. "The Coalition's databases indicate they've conquered over 50 species," Jace reported, neural interface pulsing. Each conquest added to their technological arsenal, but they never truly understood what they were taking. Through the quantum network, Coalition crews watched in awe as their ship's systems transformed. Inefficient energy weapons became elegant quantum manipulators. Brute force shields evolved into dynamic fields that worked with space itself. It wasn't an upgrade, it was an awakening. "Your species' greatest strength," Thex observed, finally understanding, "isn't your technology. It's your perspective." "Precisely," Rhina confirmed. "Earth maintained its divided state not from weakness, but because we discovered that diversity, of thought, of approach, of understanding, was our true advantage. Every culture contributed a unique way of seeing the universe." The Dark Star drones shifted formation again, their quantum fields weaving a new pattern through space. Coalition crews gasped as they saw their local reality through human sensors, a beautiful dance of particles and possibilities they had been too blind to recognize. "We could destroy your fleet," Rhina continued, "but that would be falling into the same trap of dominance that limited your growth. Instead, we offer understanding. Partnership. Evolution." High Admiral Thex stood silent, watching his mighty fleet suspended in a web of quantum enlightenment. Everything the Coalition had built, every conquest and subjugation, suddenly seemed primitive compared to what humanity had achieved through cooperation and insight. "The Coalition Council will never accept this," he said finally. "They believe strength comes from control." Then perhaps, Rhina suggested, it's time for the Coalition to evolve as well. "Your ships have already begun the process, your crews are seeing the universe as we do. The only question is whether your empire will embrace this transformation, or be left behind by it." Throughout the fleet, Coalition crews were making discoveries they had never imagined possible. Their quantum technology, forced to obey through mathematical brute force, now sang with newfound harmony. Every system, every particle, every wave functioned not through domination but through understanding. "Your choice approaches, High Admiral," Rhina concluded. "The universe isn't a resource to be conquered. It's a partner in the dance of existence. Will you continue trying to lead, or will you finally learn to dance?" 1 month after the Sol System encounter, the Coalition Grand Council convened an emergency session. The massive chamber on their capital world Nexus Prime hummed with tension as High Admiral Thex presented evidence that would reshape galactic civilization. "The humans didn't just surpass our technology," he explained, his carapace now bearing the distinctive iridescent patterns of quantum enlightenment. "They fundamentally changed how we understand reality itself." The council chamber's quantum displays showed transformed Coalition vessels, their hulls now flowing with geometric patterns that mimicked human designs. But these weren't copies, they were evolutionary steps, born from the merger of Coalition determination and human insight. Commander Drake, attending virtually through a quantum projection that made her seem simultaneously present at every point in the chamber, observed the proceedings with Lieutenant Wong monitoring from Luna Base Omega. "The Coalition fleets have begun their transformation," Jace reported through their neural link. 87% of their ships have voluntarily integrated with our quantum network." The council members watched in stunned silence as Thex demonstrated their fleet's new capabilities. Ships no longer forced their way through space, they flowed with it, their quantum fields working in harmony with natural forces. Power efficiency had increased by orders of magnitude, and their understanding of spacetime itself had evolved beyond their previous comprehension. "We stand at a crossroads," Council Leader Mira declared, her crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns. "For millennia, the Coalition expanded through strength. Now these humans show us that our greatest weakness was believing that strength meant dominance. Through the quantum network that now connected their civilizations, humanity shared not just technology but philosophy. Each Coalition world began to recognize the value of diversity, the power of multiple perspectives working in harmony rather than competition. Your empire's greatest strength," Rhina addressed the council, "was your ability to adapt and incorporate new technologies. Now we offer you something greater, the ability to evolve beyond the need for conquest." The Dark Star drones, once seen as weapons, had become teachers. They spread throughout Coalition space, sharing insights that transformed not just their technology but their entire civilization. Ships that once served conquest now explored in partnership with the quantum fabric of space itself. "The numbers are remarkable," Jace noted, scanning quantum telemetry. Coalition worlds are reporting spontaneous technological breakthroughs as their scientists learn to see reality through our perspective. "They're not just copying our advances, they're building on them." In the council chamber, Strategic Officer Ven presented data that would have seemed impossible mere months ago. Coalition ships now navigated dimensional space with an elegance that matched humanity's ghost fleet. Their quantum weapons had evolved into tools of creation rather than destruction. "We propose a new kind of alliance," Rhina announced to the council. "Not one built on dominance and submission, but on mutual evolution. Each of our civilizations brings unique insights. Together, we can achieve things neither of us could imagine alone." The quantum fields throughout Coalition space pulsed with new energy as their civilization began to transform. Ships that once conquered now explored. Weapons that destroyed now created. The geometry of space itself seemed to celebrate their evolution. And what of the other galactic powers? Council leader Mira asked. The hegemony? The collective? They will see our transformation as weakness. Rhina's quantum projection smiled. They will see what we choose to show them. Humanity's greatest lesson wasn't hiding our strength, it was understanding when to reveal it. Together, we can guide the galaxy toward evolution rather than endless conquest. The council chamber erupted in discussion as members debated this new path forward. But the decision had already been made in countless small moments across their space, in ships that danced with quantum fields, in crews that saw the universe with new eyes, in worlds that learned the power of harmony over dominance. A year after first contact, the Sol Coalition Research Institute orbited Jupiter's moon Europa, its quantum architecture seamlessly blending human insight with coalition engineering. Commander Rhina Drake watched through enhanced sensors as their latest experiment unfolded in the space before them. Quantum harmony achieved, Lieutenant Wong reported, his neural interface synchronized with both human and coalition systems. The new drive configuration is operating at theoretical maximum efficiency. The test vessel, a hybrid of human and coalition design, moved through space like liquid light. It didn't tear through dimensions like older ships, it merged with them, its quantum fields working in perfect harmony with the underlying fabric of reality. High Admiral Thex, now serving as Coalition Science Director, observed the test through his own enhanced perception. His exoskeleton had evolved along with their technology, now capable of directly sensing quantum fluctuations. We spent millennia forcing our way through space, he mused. Never realizing we could simply ask it to dance. The Institute had become a symbol of their transformed civilization. Coalition engineers worked alongside human scientists, each bringing unique perspectives to their shared understanding of the universe. The geometric patterns that once marked their separation now flowed together in endless innovation. The hegemony fleet has crossed the Carina boundary, Strategic Officer Ven announced, her sensors detecting the approach of their old rivals. They're maintaining combat formation. Rhina smiled as she watched the Dark Star drones shift into their observation pattern. The hegemony, like the coalition before them, had detected humanity's apparent weakness and decided to exploit it. They would learn the same lesson, but perhaps in a different way. Fascinating, Jace noted, analyzing the incoming fleet. Their quantum technology appears to be derived from coalition designs, but they've developed it along a completely different path. This was why humanity had maintained its deception for so long, not just to protect themselves, but to study how different civilizations approached the same problems. Each solution, even flawed ones, offered new insights into the universe's true nature. The hegemony ships arrived in full battle array, their weapons charged with stolen coalition quantum technology. They expected to find a weakened empire, ripe for conquest. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented, a civilization that had evolved beyond the need for conquest. Your weapons are remarkable, Rhina transmitted to the hegemony fleet. But you're using quantum fields like sledgehammers and you could be using them like paintbrushes. The space around their ships began to shimmer as human and coalition vessels revealed themselves, their hybrid technology demonstrating possibilities the hegemony had never imagined. Reality itself seemed to flow around them, responding to their quantum harmonies like music. We offer you a choice, Thex announced to their former rivals. The same choice humanity offered us. You can cling to the old ways of dominance and force, or you can join us in learning the universe's true dance. Through quantum sensors, they watched understanding dawn across the hegemony fleet. Their weapons, designed to destroy, were being transformed into tools of perception. Their shields, meant to resist, learned to resonate. The universe wasn't their enemy, it was their partner in an endless dance of discovery. Each civilization brings its own steps to the dance, Rhina observed as the hegemony ships began their own transformation. That's what makes it beautiful. In the space around Europa, human and coalition ships danced with quantum fields while their newest potential partners watched in wonder. The age of conquest was ending, replaced by an era of evolution and harmony. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, reality itself seemed to hum with satisfaction as its children finally learned to listen to its song.